Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. In the last video, we started the topic of fifth fundamental right, that is cultural and educational right. As we already know that there are two articles in this right, Article 29 and Article 30. Article 29 talks about protection of interest of minorities and Article 30 talks about right of minorities to establish and administer educational institutions. We have understood Article 29 in the previous video. In this video, we are going to talk about Article 30. Before proceeding further, it is important to know a small difference between Article 29 and Article 30. As we had already known in the previous video that Article 29 gives rights to the minority as well as the majority. But when it comes to Article 30, only minorities have been given the rights. No rights have been given to the majority. Means Article 29 is for both minority and majority and Article 30 is for minority only. Now let's understand Article 30 in detail. As we can see, Article 30 talks about right of minorities to establish and administer educational institutions. To understand the provisions of Article 30 in detail, let's go through its clauses. Clause 1, Clause 1A and Clause 2. Clause 1 says, all minorities, whether based on religion or language, shall have the right to establish and administer educational institutions of their choice. Now look, the word minority has been used in the main title of the article and it has also been used in the provision, which means this right is only and only for minorities. It says, all the minorities, whether a religious minority or linguistic minority, they have the right that they can open and run an educational institution of their choice. Now this right which has been given to minorities is not absolute. It has some conditions. That condition is defined in Clause 1A of Article 30. As you can see, it is written 1A. You must have understood that this clause has been added later in the Constitution. Let us first see what is written in this clause. Article 30 Clause 1A says, in making any law providing for the compulsory acquisition of any property of an educational institution established and administered by a minority referred to in Clause 1, the state shall ensure that the amount fixed by or determined under such law for the acquisition of such property is such as would not restrict or abrogate the right guaranteed under that clause. This is what is written in the Constitution. Before understanding this, it is important to know when and why this clause was added in Article 30. This clause was introduced by the 44th Amendment Act of 1978. If you remember, during 44th Amendment Act of 1978, right to property was removed from fundamental right and was introduced as constitutional right. Means, since then, right to property was no longer a fundamental right. And we know that any institution is built on a property. So as stated in Clause 1, that all minorities have the right to open and run their own educational institution. To protect the right given to minorities in Clause 1 of Article 30, Clause 1A was added. So what protection did minorities get? Look here, it is written, the state shall ensure that the amount fixed or determined under such law for the acquisition of such property. This means, if the government acquires the property of institution of minorities, then according to the law under which it is acquiring, the government will have to pay a proper compensation. Means the amount must be that much so that the institution can be established elsewhere. One more thing to note down. If the government is acquiring property of institution, then there should be a valid reason for it. What should be the reason? If the reason is related to public interest, then only the government can acquire that property. For example, if there is a railway line to be built or to widen a road or a highway, and if any property or institution is coming in the way, then in that case the government can acquire that property. This was just an example. There could be many other reasons as well. Now coming to clause 2 of Article 30, which says, the state shall not, in granting aid to educational institutions, discriminate against any educational institution on the ground that it is under the management of a minority, whether based on religion or language. This means that if the state or government is providing aid or help to educational institutions, then the government cannot discriminate against the educational institution on the basis of religion and language of a minority. Suppose if any religious minority has a school of its own, then the government cannot deny to provide help on minority basis. Now you must have understood a lot about this article. In the Constitution, there is one more article, that is Article 350A, which is in support of Article 30, in which it has been said that every state and its authorities should ensure that all the children of linguistic minorities get their primary education in their mother tongue. And the President can also direct the states to secure this provision. Apart from these clauses, there is one more thing which is important to understand, which we are talking about again and again. That is minority educational institutions. It is important to know what are the types of minority educational institutions and what is the power of state or government on these institutions. There are three types of minority educational institutions in India. Number 1, institutions that seek recognition as well as aid from the state. Recognitions like AICTE, CBSE, UGC, etc. Number 2, institutions that seek only recognition from the state and not aid. Number 3, institutions that neither seek recognition nor aid from the state. These are the three types of minority educational institutions. State can regulate first two educational institutions with regard to syllabus, academic standards, discipline, sanitation, employment of teachers, etc. And the third institution that neither seek recognition nor aid from the state can manage their own affairs. The state will not interfere in it. But it doesn't mean that they can run their institution in a wrong way. State will definitely impose those laws which are necessary for security, like labor law, contract law, tax law, industrial law, etc. That's all about Article 30, and with this, our fifth fundamental right ends here.